Why do you build me up? Buttercup, baby, just to let me down and mess me around in the worst of all.
Formally, and then throughout today's events, I don't know why Mike had me go later, because all I did was come up with like 9 different ways I could start, so I'm going to run through each of them, I think. I'm Ryan, and I'm our PR and communications manager at Dorney Park, which is a really simple corporate way of saying that you're going to do a lot of different stuff, and it's all going to fall under this weird umbrella. So that's my job. I'm making Avery be up here with me today. She started as an intern 2 years ago, then became our social media manager, and then became our content coordinator. So you can say she does not like public speaking. That's why I made her do this today.
Yeah, I prefer to film him public speak, and I hide behind the camera. So I'm very nervous, but it's fine.
Yeah, she's a really great cinematographer. So anybody who got to see our Ghost in the Machine teasers, which there were 7 of, yeah, Avery did a lot of work on that. I was the producer of those and helped with lighting and things, but pretty much allowed Avery to flourish and shoot a lot of it. So we had a fun time doing that last season.
It was
A lot of work.
A lot of work. It was really, really fun though.
A lot of work. So some of my observations, I know they talked a lot about Jolene at Dollywood, but we don't need an 88-year-old lady to come and ride roller coasters, because if I need somebody, I just call Cliff. That was all that was going through my mind. It was awesome thinking. But yeah, so I saw that. The other thing I was thinking back on last year, and I was like, you know what? That was like playing poker with 250 people, and everybody's against me, and I have all these cards, and I can't play any of them, or tell you what any of those are. So I am so excited that this year is extremely different. Throughout this presentation, I've got a couple different things for you. Some of those things I don't think any of you have ever heard or seen before. And I'm actually super anxious because A, I'm an anxious person, but B, I put a lot of videos in here, so no pressure. Hopefully they all play out because I'm very a visual person, and so for me, showing you guys video rather than words just works for me. May not work for everybody, but hopefully you enjoy it. A lot of these videos you've probably seen because we've, I think, done a really good job of sharing and telling our story on social media. Which is something that I'm really passionate about, sharing our story and making sure the community knows that you all are a part of our story. And I can't thank you guys enough. We had a lot of great events in 2023. I think Hallow Thriller was my favorite. At Dorney Park, we really love spooky time. We really love Halloween. And so to have you all out there and do our walkthrough of Ghost in the Machine was really exciting. I loved that haunt. It was unlike anything I've ever seen or experienced. And we got to work really closely with Plague Productions, who has worked a lot on Knott's Scary Farm. Has anybody ever been there before? Knott's? Okay. Knott's Berry Farm, I'm sure you've been to, but Scary Farm's a little different. And those individuals were so incredibly talented. And we had a lot of local vendors on that project too. So that was exciting. I don't want to belabor you though with 2023. Instead, we really want to talk about 2024, which for Dorney Park is a long time coming. Because it was way overdue. So I don't know if you guys have seen the video, but I'm obsessed with it. I swear, I hear the song in sleep. So this was the sizzle reel that we dropped, full animation, on August 10th, just announcing to the world that Iron Menace was coming to Dorney Park. What I thought was really critical about this ride for us was that beyond the roller coaster, which is huge news for us, especially as a park that thrived on roller coaster culture in the early 2000s and late 90s with Steel Force and Talon and Hydra, was that we really wanted to create a connection with the community in a different kind of way, other than saying like we're your neighborhood park, because Dorney is really a neighborhood park. We've got 78 right there, multiple roads. You can access the park, Haynesville Road, Hamilton Boulevard, Lincoln Avenue, which is also a security concern, so I'm becoming somewhat of a security expert during this construction process. Did not realize I was going to be nominated to be an officer some days, but here we are. This just tells about the news. We worked with a freelance journalist to kind of help us tell our story, and what Julia was able to do was really help me with our team, making sure that our general manager and vice president, as well as our construction director, were ready for all the media questions we were going to get because of where we're located and situated. When we do something big, which has been a long time, we tend to see the media from New York and Philadelphia, which, as some of you may know, can be a different beast. They come in pretty hot. So I think really had fun
A
telling this
first of
story.
its kind roller coaster, diving and twisting its way to Dorney Park in Allentown.
It's our first brand new addition since 2005 to the park, and we expect it to fundamentally change how people think about Dorney Park and Wellwater Kingdom.
Iron Menace will be the first B&M dive coaster not only at Dorney, but in the Northeast. Riders will be suspended in the air for 3 seconds before plummeting 152 feet at a 95-degree angle.
We're really excited for people to come from all over, whether it's New York City, Philly, the outskirts of Pennsylvania, heck, anywhere across the United States of America, or even overseas.
While the physical aspects of this new steel coaster are paving the way for the future of the park, the Iron Menace also honors the past.
We're really trying to tap into those rich historical roots and industrial roots of Pennsylvania. Bring people that deep connection that we all have with the Lehigh Valley and some of the imagery that calls back to Bethlehem Steel and some of the other industrial facilities that are all around our area.
Iron Menace holds true to its name. The ride's theme centers around the story of Scottish businessman Hiram S. McTavish, who opened McTavish Steel Mill in the early 1900s. Riders will find themselves in an old steel mill filled with mystery.
It's great to be able to dive into the past and pay homage to something that was so important to the United States, and really give a sense of pride to it and own it.
Dorney staff members say Iron Menace has been in the works for more than a year. Now it's time to move from the planning phase to the construction phase.
There's going to be people here every day. We're going to be working
I love Paul. I didn't mean to cut him off, but I don't want to let that play out too much. Hopefully that answers some of your questions before you get to it. Also, I'm hoping I take a full 30, so I don't have to end. No, I'm kidding. This is the POV, and I just wanted to add a note about this, that when we were talking with the animator about doing this, one of the cool things that I got to do was, as once again, someone who thinks of themselves as a photographer and cinematographer, videographer, is I got to climb a lot of the rides and a lot of the unique perches in the park to get the angles that the animator needed. So he would send me emails, or we would correspond via phone, and then I would get to go out with, if maintenance was needed to be there with me because we were in an awkward spot or needed a harness or those kinds of things, they would go with me. We had to kind of get in a weird spot on Steel Force to kind of get this angle of the sun that this guy wanted, which who knows if it ever even got used. But man, I haven't been that scared in a long time. And the maintenance guy I was with, I was like, do we need to like tie off or hook off? He's like, no. I'm like, can I hook off or tie off? Because, you know, we're not used to those kind of heights, but I thought that was really cool. I'll just let the POV play, and I can talk about it a little bit. So I'm actually really amazed that when it comes to looking at the ride itself, you can, I mean, it looks almost exactly this to the T. The biggest difference is the handrails there. Boy, that is really rendering slow. But the handrails and the stairs are actually that Umbra gray. So that was one thing that we changed from this initial animation. The other big difference is when they created this, I got a lot of questions about, like, aren't you guys going to change the area? The answer was yes. In this video, we didn't. We just treated it so we slapped it right into the park. And there were a number of reasons for that. But I think the biggest reason was we were still working through the vision of what we wanted everything to be when this animation needed to be completed. So that was really interesting. Yeah, the drop. That is rendering terribly. I can't take it anymore. The biggest thing for this is if you want to watch it, it's on YouTube. Or I guess it's going to make me play it all the way out. Okay, there we go. And we also had this drone fly around made too, just because, you know, once you're already paying an animator, you might as well get your money's worth. And I am really amazed at just how dynamically it changes the skyline. So as you come into the park, you're gonna see it right as you pull into general parking. I will mention too, we're gonna make some changes to parking. Nothing too significant, but we're hoping that it speeds things up and alleviates some of the pressure that we see on a daily basis. Here's a fun little thing. And Avery can join me on this. So I was trying to dig this up because when you go through this process, the amount of emails I get on a regular basis is insane. But when you go through something like this, like a naming process or a ride project, we have so many documents by the end. And so I was working to put it all in one centralized location, and I realized that I had like the initial pitch list. I think some got blown off pretty quick, but this was like round 2. And we had about 5, but there's some really good ones on there. Avery, did you want to point out some of your favorites?
My favorite one that we say all the time is the flame liquor. Like, I just feel like that one's so like funny and like crazy. And then another one is Phantom of the Opera. That one was very creative and cheesy. There's a lot of like really funny ones on here, and it's really cool to see like where everyone's mind went as far as naming the new roller coaster. What was another? Iron Inferno was yours, right?
So Iron Inferno was actually two guys in the admin building, myself and Pete Scarpero, who is our group sales director. We pushed so hard, and we got it into the final three. And then Iron Menace, which is on the list as well, who I cannot remember who pitched that. But we did have some corporate partners involved in this, as well as some of our advertising partners. So there's folks out of Charlotte and Chicago. They're the ones that came up with all the 80s hairband names. It's like Metalvania's on there, and like Iron Riot. Iron Raven was the other final three, which I always have trouble remembering. But
Plasma Blaster.
So I think Iron Menace was the best name. I'm going to be honest with you. There's some interesting ones. When we saw Steel, I think there were some really cool Steel names, but we already have Steel Force, and I was really big on like we're not naming another ride Steel anything. So if you're mad about it, it's my fault. Sorry. As far as construction, there's no sound of these. I just wanted to click through and kind of take you guys through the process. So for Avery and I, this has been really exciting. I don't know what your favorite part of filming this and being. We have such a good relationship with the GC on this project that James, the supervisor, will literally call me and be like, "Dude, where are you? You got to get here." And I'm like, I am 10 minutes away. Hold on. And he's like, I will wait 10 minutes and that's it.
We pull up and we're like, oh my gosh, like look what they're doing. Like we're so excited about it. It's so fun to see like every step of the way.
Yeah, it's wild to see new steel coming up. So this was actually like a really, so we kind of mark things in milestones for the contractor, so we could say, this is what I want. And then I'd work it back and I'd say, what do you think is possible? And they've been great. So basically anything's been possible. But this was when the first piece got set. This is actually station 3, and then 1 went in, and then 2. And this all happened within a 3-day window. So they work so incredibly fast. Once the steel is on site, it doesn't take long at all, depending on where you're at in the project. The one that was kind of bended was 4. It's actually station 4, lift 1. So this was all within that first week, which I thought was really exciting. The other exciting part, of course, the topping of the lift hill, which Avery and I got out there, and we were just wowed the entire time. We had GoPros strapped to it. We had a drone out. I think this is all from the ground. We had B-roll for media, all kinds of different shots available to them. So to coordinate this was pretty impressive. It took us, we were actually out there probably 2-3 hours before it started. Yeah, it happens a lot. A lot of hurry up and wait, which folks have been involved with construction and getting media. Sometimes you're like we're doing it now, and you get out there and you're like, okay, 6 hours later. Yeah, I'm like, can I go back to the office and come back? Yeah, you can probably go out.
Stop at Wawa.
Stop at Wawa. Yeah, Wawa coffee is a must. This was just 2 weeks ago, maybe, the 0G roll being completed. And then got great news that on Monday the crane is coming back and we are moving forward on construction of the tilted loop. So that's really exciting, and that's one of a kind on a dive roller coaster. So we're really, really excited for this project. It's been a long time for Dorney Park. This is special for you guys. So pay attention. You're the only ones to know this, and you're the only ones to see this because this is the next Menacing Minute, and I haven't dropped it yet. This is actually a message from Jessica Naderman, so I asked our general manager and vice president if she wanted to do this. This is like her baby, and it's not everything, but we're pretty excited to share it with you today.
The song.
Best introduce ever.
Hello everyone, Jessica Naderman, Vice President and General Manager of Dorney Park, here with your Menacing Minute. As you can see, I'm standing in front of Dorney Grill, which will soon go through a major transformation into the Iron Mill Grill and Bar. We are transforming this location into a large crew serve restaurant, which means that it will be efficient and can do much more capacity to serve our guests. We are thrilled to be bringing you a variety of new menu items to this location. Everything from pierogies to flatbreads, delicious chicken sandwich, and pulled pork sandwiches. In addition, there'll be a new bar located at this location for all you craft beer seekers out there, as well as a new seating patio to provide comfortable seating and shade for all guests. We can't wait to share this new food restaurant with you, but that's not all. As you can see, I am standing outside a building here in our new Steelyard area. This building, soon to become our newest retail location, Steelyard Gifts. Here, you'll be able to get all your Iron Menace merch and much more for all you ride lovers. This is going to be the place to be. And last, our newest addition to the area is going to be a re-theme on our Flying Eagles ride, currently known as Cedar Creek Flyers, soon to be known as MT Buckets. The re-theme to MT Buckets is based upon Hiram McTavish himself and will fit the new Steelyard immersive experience that we are going to provide for 2024. So we are thrilled to open here May 10th. Maybe we have some more surprises up our sleeves. You'll have to keep tuning in to find out.
Honestly, we've known about those three things for like months. But we were still just kind of waiting on some concepts and some art. So I think the biggest thing for me is just that this continues out that theming. And just to summarize, we have the new restaurant, which is a total overhaul of Dorney Grill. So a lot of people say there's no seating, there's nowhere to eat. We're hoping that all of this corrects it. Actually, where Monster used to sit, I think you guys saw it get disassembled and moved. Still not 100% sure what the plan is with that. We had a plan, it fell through, so we're still working on that. But it will be a new seating patio, so that's why it got moved. Steelyard Gifts is almost completed actually, so we'll probably have another update on that pretty soon. And while you're there, who's coming tomorrow? Yeah, awesome. So while you're there tomorrow, we'll try to roll up the curtain, let you take a peek inside. And then MT Buckets just seemed like a slam dunk. Actually, if you guys are watching that video, which you'll probably watch it again later, if you look really closely, Jim Schneck, who does our graphic work, he loves like putting in little Easter eggs, and you can see Stinger in there, which I just think is hilarious. So there's another big highlight here. So this is the first time you guys are going to look at this concept art. So it'll be Thunderhawk's 100th anniversary. Yeah. I was going to go with this big whole like 100 years of roller coasters, and then I was told by one of our guys that's been with Dorney Park for over 40 years that there actually was a little out and back train roller coaster ride that was built in 1905, came down in 1913. So there's a little history for you. As far as Thunderhawk's 100th birthday, we actually have a committee that I assembled, and so we're working on merch, signage, and more. We plan to put some things out, some memorabilia so you guys can see it. We're working on a timeline that's going to be something you can walk up to and look at. I've already had a discussion with Tom and Janine in here somewhere about ways that we can get them involved as well, and then do a 100th birthday event. I will say that right now it is not the top priority. The top priority is Iron Menace, but Thunderhawk will get its space during the summer, so don't worry. I know you guys are going to ask questions. Zephyr will reopen. It has to be retracked. It's going to run through the station, so that's another big difference for that area. And I think Zephyr's a great ride anyway. It's just fun to ride. It goes around the creek. But this will change that ride. We're building more theming elements around the ride. I know everybody's saying, well, what else is going to happen with the ride? Well, there's some things. So I think that's what Jessica meant when you're in store for some more surprises. So we're working on some stuff with the dive, as an example. We have multiple buildings in the Steelyard are going to get a facelift. So the bathroom, if you're familiar with the bathroom down by Ghost in the Machine, it's going to get a facelift. It's going to fit the theme. So we want you to feel like you're in a Steelyard that's been abandoned since 1930 in 2024, which is, different. But here we are. We have a new control system for Steel Force. So we had a lot of questions about repainting Hydra and Possessed. In terms of capital projects and work and the amount of people that we have, Jessica made the decision that doing this control system for Steel Force was more important. It's a pretty big project, getting that thing from like a Space Wars computer to something that's modern day, and I think it's definitely going to improve the ride. It's kind of similar to some of the things they did with Mamba, so we're hoping to have more of an experience like that at some point. No promises, because I haven't ridden it with the new control system yet. Sugar Shack, if you know where that is, when you're leaving the park, going up Cardio Hill, as I like to call it. Oh man, talk about a hill. It's getting a full remodel, and that's going to be pretty cool. And two other things, we are making some dynamic parking changes. So one of the things in the past, and this will make a big difference, our security handled our parking, which is kind of wild. It will be our admissions team, which means there will be a direct leader in charge of it. We're also creating a way that when we hit crowds of a certain capacity, that we can move to a second gate. So we are creating a second gate on the lower half of the park, closer to Iron Menace. So we're still working on some of those details and what that looks like. We've got to make some digital changes and make sure that we've got internet in appropriate areas, especially down by the creek. And then we've got some new events coming up this year. So we'll have some more information on that, I believe, later in the month. And so it's going to be a really exciting season at Dorney Park. I have a couple other things for you guys. Did you want to go through these? I feel like I'm doing all the talking here, Avery.
You can keep going.
I know you're not public speaking. Yeah, February 27th, we're going to make an announcement. Can't tell you what it is, or I'd have to kill you. Special event coming up actually before the park opens. I'm working through some last minute details, but the goal for us is to raise money for charity. Wink, wink. We're working with the Philadelphia Eagles Autism Foundation for a ride for a cause that will coincide with the opening of Iron Menace. We have a pretty aggressive fundraising goal. We're working pretty hard with them, so you'll start to see materials go out for that probably by the end of February. Got a couple last minute things to nail down, but things are looking good. So that's an event that will likely coincide or happen around the same time that we open the park and get Iron Menace moving. So I think that's all I have for the PowerPoint. But yeah, we're really excited about this year and this season. There's a lot of stuff happening at Dorney. I probably missed stuff, to be quite honest with you. So it's exciting to have new things at our park. It's kind of weird when you see Iron Menace. It makes Possessed look really tired. So forewarning, I'm sorry. Possessed is still a great ride though. And as we talked about, I don't know anything about the holding brake. All right? Every time I ask though, I'm told that they're having some kind of conversation about it, but nobody will tell me I'm like the annoying little brother at the dinner table. I'm pretty sure. When it comes to this, in general, they like to just watch me play in the backyard. They're like, he's so excited. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, Avery would be happy to answer all of them. Yes, sir.
With possessed, yes. Well, how is that going to tie in?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I actually did mean to mention that. I appreciate it. So that was part of that dynamic theming. What we're doing there is we're going to create an open seating area. So we're gutting it out. It was used for storage for games. So basically from where Possessions was over will be like open air seating. So people can just enjoy the creek and sit down, take a break, eat. And then the goal, which this could get stuck, but the goal is to put a bar in that place where Possessions was. Given that it's so close to the creek, we are finding some foundational issues, but we're working through those things. So the goal is to have, I know everybody talks about like I need a drink and it's so hard to get a drink down here. The goal is to alleviate that and address that. So that's part of it. It'll be steel mill theme.
Are they getting a license for alcohol for the rest of the bar? Now it's only up to the wood bar.
Yeah, so yes. Short answer. Yeah, I could go into detail, but yes, we're working through all those things for the bar. Yes.
So one of my favorite parts of Menacing has been the intro music.
Thanks.
And I think it's great, and I think it should be used as station music. Anything on that, maybe?
Station music? Oh, yeah, so oh man, there's a big debate right now about what music and ambiance should be in this area, in the steel yard and in the station. Believe it or not, you think that would be addressed already, but there's like two big factions. One wants to have the industrial sounds, like the feeling of being in a steel mill or a steel yard, and then the other one's kind of like that, like the music that's like metal rock going on. So I don't know if those two things can be married, but I guess it's possible. But, maybe that's the pitch. Maybe that has been pitched. You'll never know. I think, what did we learn today? You have to say stay tuned, right? Stay tuned. Can I use that even if I just don't want to answer the question? Stay tuned? Yeah, okay. Yes. It's Grover. Favorite Sesame Place character? Grover. Oh, okay, you got a different one. All right. There are. I could say stay tuned if I wanted to save time, but I'll eat up some time. We're actually looking pretty aggressively at the area around Hydra. I think it's been the one that's been talked about the most. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. We talk about a lot of things, to be honest with you. So talk about repainting things and changing things, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. There's a lot of people that have to sign off on it, and then you start to have conversations, and you realize that Steel Force needs a new control system, and it pauses maybe 2 or 3 things you were going to work on. So. Yes, the answer is we would like dynamic theming throughout the park. not unlike Sesame Place. So I just don't think we can use the IP, but we'll find something else. In the back, I heard that.
Keep and display the poster that we all signed during cultural.
Oh, where is that? Huh. Pretty sure it's over there somewhere. Mike hid it from you. It's here. It's here. Yeah, it's actually going to be part of a live auction today. So I brought it all the way from Allentown just for you guys. Threw it in the back of the Jeep and hauled it out here. She's asking about, I had ACE members who came to our Hollow Thriller sign the actual, we put the signage up with the specs on the ride on the construction preview wall. And I let everybody sign it because I think y'all were there like last weekend. So I just had everybody sign it, and my goal was to gift it to Mike, but he said he'd rather live auction and raise some funds, so I thought that was pretty cool. Anybody else have a question? Back corner.
With Steel Force's control upgrades and next year's heightened crowds, will Steel Force return to 3 train operations by any chance?
So I believe that all 3 trains were in the shop this winter. Couldn't tell you if they're all going to get out, because honestly, out of all the conversations I've had, that probably is like 50th on my list. I'm just going to be honest with you, but.
In the Iron Menace station, is the plan to have automatic gates or push gates?
The plan is to have automatic gates. So, but plans change. Stay tuned. I'm learning. Anybody else? In the back.
What's your second favorite Sesame Street character?
Oh. Oscar. Yeah. Yes. Is that right? Is that good? That's good? That was good. All right. Actually kind of matches our spirit sometimes. Yes, sir. Cookie Monster, I'm really digging here. Yeah, stay tuned. I'll take the out. I know some things, but I don't feel comfortable enough talking about it yet.
I was wondering, what are your thoughts on the possible impending merger with CC and Flags?
What did you say? What did you say? I know as much as you do. Was that the? I know as much as you do.
In terms of having, being able to work with different manufacturers, new IP possibly to the park.
I mean, I don't hate the idea, but honestly, I feel like I'm speaking out of turn if I were to speak on it at this point because it's not done. So, I would. Oh, I mean, if it's done, it's done, and we'll find a way forward. That's always been my thing, and have fun with it. And I'm always excited to work for Dorney Park. I like it when I get to help other Cedar Fair parks, which I have over the last couple of years. So, if we expand the portfolio and there's more parks to help and more parks to learn from, that's better for me. So on a personal level, it doesn't change the way I'm going to operate one way or the other, personally. I'm just going to bust my butt and work really hard, and we'll do what's best for Dorney Park.